Hi, this is Fred, FR5ED, here with a beer review. Did I mention the 5 is silent? This is a special review, and I'm starting off without the beer in front of me, and I'll explain that in a second. You may have already seen the video that we put out there with a 5-judge panel for a comparison of Pliny the Elder, which is the #1 double IPA in the world. You know, check it out on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate. They both rated at a perfect 100. The comparison was to a home brew based on the Pliny the Elder recipe supplied by Vinny, who created, from Russian River, who created Pliny the Elder. He published the recipe. Well, David Renson, my friend from Taps from Scratch, who's only been brewing 5 months, took this recipe, put together the hop bill, the grain bill, and everything, and actually there were 4 deviations from the original recipe, and I call them deviations. It just, for one thing, the hops, the Simcoe hops were not available, so he used nugget hops. When it came to additional fermentable sugar, instead of using dextrose, he used honey. When it came to the yeast, apparently he could not get a hold of the California ale yeast on the recipe, so he used Y yeast 1056. And the 4th deviation was that he actually dry hopped it 19 days instead of 14 days. So while it's not a perfect clone or a perfect attempt at a clone, the recipe was close enough. It did warrant a comparison, and you can go back and watch that video to see the results. I'm just going to do my own personal review of it, just like I do any beer, without comparing it to anything else, but just by doing my usual ASTMO. And I'm going to go out to my kegerator, which is called a pub hub, and I have it on tap. So I'm going to grab a snifter of that, bring it back here, and give it a taste. In fact, why don't you come on with me? Okay, here we are. This is my pub hub. It's the old refrigerator from my parents' house. It's quite old, but it is built great, I've been told. Wow, that was a poem. Okay, so I've got 3 taps. 2 of them are live. 1 of them I still haven't put anything in yet. I happen to have Cigar City High Lie in here. And my middle tap is the Taps from Scratch Pliny the Elder clone. So let me go ahead, and I may not be able to give a good pour because I'm trying to video with one hand and pour with the other. So this is probably going to be a little foamy. There we go. I wanted to wait till I was actually going to do the taste test before I poured it, because I did not want to have it sit in a glass for too long. So I've only got about 2 pounds of pressure on the keg, which is good. I like that. It's plenty enough to get it to pour, but it's not overly carbonating it. Okay, let's go back in. All right, we are back. I'm back in the studio here. Here it is. The head has died down a little bit. I've already sniffed it, so I'm going to compare my sniff on the way back here to this one a couple minutes later as I was getting set back up. But let me go ahead and look at it. It's not super clear, but it's not cloudy with sediment so much. It's just not super clear. That's fine. Let's give it a smell. Wow, pineapples. Definitely pineapples. Sweet pineapples. It's like I could smell the sweetness of the malt, and who knows if that's the honey in there helping that sweet smell as well. But the actual smell is very pineapple-y and melony. I'm not sure that... Oh, there's some pine. There's definitely some pine. Yeah, I'm not sure I get a lot of citrus, but I'm getting pineapple, melon, and pine, and then the malty sweetness. Let's give it a taste. Oh, by the way, the color is very much a honey color, like a light amber, dark golden honey color. Let's taste it. Lots of bitterness. A really nice bitterness. Supposedly this is 90 to 100 IBUs. I believe it, but it's not a in-your-face, wow, that is really bitter and I don't like it. This is a very pleasant bitterness, what you would want and expect in a double IPA. And you do get that. It's not as sweet as I would expect, you know, knowing that, you know, it was definitely brewed to the Pliny. Well, of course, Pliny the Elder is a fairly dry double IPA anyway, But this just smells like it's got a lot of sweetness to it, but it's not translating so much into the taste. It's there. I don't know if I remember tasting more sweetness in this when we did the review a week and a half ago, or if it's just kind of died down a little bit. There is some sweetness. It's just the hop bitterness is very present. You do get a little of the pineapple-y fruit taste there. It's fairly simple malt taste. It's not real complex on the malt side. It's obviously more about the hops. And the mouthfeel, not as heavy as some double IPAs. You know, Stout's double IPA, Schmaltz's, Lenny's RIPA. You know, some of the others that are heavy on the malt side and actually sweet seem to have a heavier mouthfeel. This is you know, it's very medium, nothing heavy at all. Would I buy it again? Heck yeah! We'd like to make this again, and maybe even you know, work on the hops a little more. Maybe try the California ale yeast once we can get it, and then maybe adjust the hops a little bit. Get this. Oh, I love Simcoe hops. I'd love to get those going in here. But anyway, I can't tell you to try it, you know, but I can say if you're home brewing, to get the recipe for Pliny the Elder that is, you know, widely available out there, and use that to go by. But feel free to mix it up, as David did. You know, he had 4 variations on this, and it worked quite well, quite good. So I'm very pleased with it, and looking forward to finishing this glass, and whenever I have the next one. So this is Fred, FR5ED, over and out.